Hey, what's up guys? Today we are going for more of the natural look. It's a few days before Halloween, so I wanted to provide you guys with an easy DIY Halloween skull makeup look that you can do. It doesn't even take that long because it's very abstract and kind of messy, so even if you fuck it up, it looks like you're supposed to have fucked it up, you know? You know what I mean? Because I know like not everybody is like an expert face painter, but you want to have something dope looking, so I got you. I also wanted to make this look a little bit more accessible for people who don't just like own body paints and like flash paints and cream paints and alcohol based paint. A lot of these things that a lot of makeup tutorials for Halloween require. So I do use some water activated paints and I do use a cream based paint from Makeup Forever. However, you could easily just get a really cheap white cream paint from like Walmart or the Halloween store where they sell the costumes or whatever and use that instead. But yeah, I think this is a great way to have like a creepy ass scary skull costume, and you could just pair it with like a black shirt. Like if you were wearing this to a party, you might want to bring the whiteness down onto your chest more to mesh it in a little bit, but I'm just wearing this for this, so I didn't go there. You could just wear it with an all black outfit or like one of those skeleton onesies or something, and boom, bing, bang, boom, you have like a full costume. So I thought this was cool. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a little bit different from my channel, but I've been doing these things over on Instagram, so I figured I would want to do one on here too. I'm going to show you how I got this creepy skull look. Okay, to start off with, my skin is like crazy inflamed because I've been doing so many Halloween looks and that shit is hard on your face. So I'm going to go in first with my Anastasia stick foundation in the color Ivory, and I'm going to mix that with the white shade from my Makeup Forever Flash palette, which is broken and falling apart, but we do what we can. So the reason I'm mixing the two colors together is skulls are traditionally white, but actual bone is not white. It's kind of like an ivory color, and I kind of wanted to get like that more natural ivory-ish look instead of like a bright cartoony white for this particular skull. And even though I am pretty ghastly white, it is definitely a lot whiter than my actual skin. So it's going to take a few layers and a lot of blending before it actually looks like an even coat. Do not be afraid to go a little bit crazy with the Beauty Blender on this part because you want to really make sure you have an even coat of white. Otherwise, it sort of ruins the illusion that you are indeed a skull. And it just looks like a person who has some splotchy white makeup on your face. Also, don't forget to cover your lips because if they're pink, it's going to look weird when you do some skull teeth later. With my Anastasia cream color in the color Jet, I am going to take a flat eyeshadow brush and just start laying down the general shape of a skull eye socket. As you can see, I'm doing it messy as all hell at first, but then we're going to grab a Real Techniques buffing brush and just kind of buff those edges out, and that'll start to sort of create the actual shape of the eye socket. So it doesn't really matter what you put down at first because it's all going to get buffed out and blended later, you know? Make mistakes while you can and then fix them and then make them look better. Yeah. So once I have that blended out to where I think it looks good, I'm going to dip that into the black from my Kat Von D Shade and Light eye palette and just set the eye area to prevent any creasing that may happen. I might need to set it more later. I think it did start to crease toward the end of this. And now I'm going to jump right into the fun part, the creepy skull lines. Basically, I'm trying to do them right at the corner in the shape of almost like a furrowed brow. So it kind of gives it a more angry look. But then after that, it's kind of more random. And here I went back and started to extend that darkness up a little bit because I didn't like that it ended below my eyebrow and I wanted it to take up my whole eye socket. So I went back in with a little bit more shadow and then continued drawing lines in just random directions. And if you find that the color is dragging a little bit, just raise up your eyebrow and move your face around to give yourself a little bit more of like a tighter plane to work on. And for these lines, to be honest with you, like you can just do any which way. I completely went ham, but I did want to make sure that a lot of them were giving me like that little angry brow effect. Other than that, that's it. That's it. You're good to go. And now we can move on straight into the cheekbones with a little bit of a normal contour color from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. And then I am going to go in with that same black shadow on a smaller brush to chisel out that cheekbone area and make it look good and skeletal. At first, I'm going to lay it down and let it look real grungy. and then I'm going to buff it out, but I'm not actually going to spend a ton of time blending this because two things. I want this to look a little bit creepy and messy, and I also am going to add in some cross hatching like I did on the eyes. The nice thing about adding in this cross hatching is you can use it to add depth. So the closer you make the little lines together, the darker it will appear and the more depth it will add to the area. So instead of just blacking it out with like a flat black shadow, it gives it a nice texture and it ties it into the eye look as well. To start the mouth, I'm just extending out 2 lines from the corners of the mouth and then deepening the center of the lips with some black shadow because I am going to want that to be really sunken in and creepy looking a little bit later. Now it's time to start drawing in the teeth, and this is like the most tedious, laborious part, and it's super annoying, but it is pretty important to the skull look, so you gotta do it. The ones that I am putting on are kind of like a reverse flower petal shape. You can kind of play around with whatever shape you want. It doesn't really matter as long as it sort of resembles a tooth, because like clearly this is not anatomically correct. And once I'm done actually drawing the shapes of them, I am just going in with the same liner and I'm darkening the edges of them and also adding little crosshatch marks at the base of them to add some depth so it looks like the teeth are receding in. Then to continue the theme here, I just added some more crosshatch marks between all of the teeth. Again, surprise, surprise. Have you seen a theme here? It's all about the crosshatching. To make those teeth pop, I am going in with a white face paint from Mayron, and I'm just putting it in all the areas that I didn't shade to make that stark white pop against the not quite stark white skin that we put down earlier. That kind of makes the whole mouth pop and makes it look extra creepy. As you can see, I like to keep it creepy. I'm also going to use a little bit of white eyeliner from Stila to get in there and give some extra details around the edge. And all that's left to do now is put down the shape of our nose. I am using the Sigma eyeliner in the color Wicked, and I chose this because it's super black and has a lot of slip, so it's easy to get a really black, solid nose down really quickly. And I'm going to go around the edges of that nose and make like little squiggly lines and marks because I didn't want it to be the only shape on the face that didn't have any texture, because then it would stand out and look like mad weird and shit, you know? Then just fill in the rest of the nose, make sure everything is completely coated in black because it's supposed to be a void in your face. You gotta make sure it looks like a hole. And that's it. That is literally the whole skull creepy sketchy tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. All of my social media will be linked down below. And I hope you all have a great Halloween. Bye!